Hi everyone, welcome. I'm going to give it another minute before we start and make sure everyone has successfully joined. So just a minute or two. Right. Today we'll be doing a webinar on the latest features of Dynamics 365. Really exciting stuff. But first, in a short introduction, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Renelle Rath and I'm a functional consultant at Magnetism Solutions. And at Magnetism, we live and breathe Microsoft Dynamics and work really closely with our clients to build awesome solutions to their everyday real problems. And it's new features like the one we'll be discussing today that gives us the opportunity to do so. So keep an ear out. We will have time to answer some questions in the end of this webinar, but should we not manage to get to yours, feel free to contact us directly, either through our website at www.magnetismsolutions.com or email us at support@magnetismsolutions.com. So without any further ado, let's get started. This is the latest in a series of webinars giving you an overview of the newest features available in Dynamics 365 and what they mean for you and your business. We will be starting this series of webinars with the new AI Builder, artificial intelligence, hey? So what is the AI Builder? Well, if we look at the definition, the AI Builder is a new Power Platform capability that allows you to easily automate processes and predict outcomes to help improve business performance. AI Builder is a turnkey solution that brings the power of AI through a point-and-click experience. Using AI Builder, you can add intelligence to your apps, even if you have no coding or data science skills. Yes, that's quite a mouthful, but don't worry, we will be breaking this down a bit further in these sessions, highlighting usable solutions for your business. But in a nutshell, it's a Power Platform capability that puts awesome artificial intelligence at your fingertips. The preview release for AI Builder currently has 4 models available, and as a theme for this series, we will be focusing specifically on form processing. Form processing allows you to create and use models that use machine learning technology to identify and extract key value pairs and table data from form documents. Pretty nifty, hey? But what does that really mean? It means that with this new feature, you can now build your own custom AI model and train it to analyze any type of document used within your business, where it will identify and extract key values and table data for you to use as you please within your system. But where could you use something like the form processing AI in your business, and what would be the benefit? Well, processing forms or documents can be slow and an error-prone process, and unfortunately, the reality is that a lot of businesses have an archive of documents that they need to process daily. This is an area where I think the form processing AI can be used to help. So let's look at a real-life scenario. You have a business that organizes events or programs that people can be referred to, something like a regional sports trust. To join one of these programs, a referral form needs to be submitted, completed with all their personal details regarding the event or program they want to join. Awesome. You now have the details of a referred client that is very interested in one of your events or programs, but you're sitting with a big pile of scanned documents of all the forms that they have submitted. How do you get them into your system? Well, I would imagine it's something like this. You have your referral form or document, let's say a scanned PDF, that needs processing. You likely have an agent that manually creates a record within your system, let's say a contact record within Dynamics 365. From each of these referral documents, they're copying the details from form to field into the system. Now this process works, but it can be quite time consuming for the agent, and there's a chance of information being wrongly captured. So those are 2 key issues we need to bear in mind. I believe we can improve the process with incorporating the form processing AI. Instead of having the agent manually create a record, we could have the form processing AI analyze and review the referral form and create a record automatically within the system from that retrieved information. This would save the agent time and lessen the chance of wrongly captured information. Sounds like a win-win, doesn't it? Well, let's have a look at how we could set this up. I'm thinking it's something like this. We can have that the referral form gets dropped into a SharePoint folder. A simple flow can then pick the document from SharePoint and use the form processing AI to extract information from that form, meaning we're using artificial intelligence to look at that document, review and analyze its content, then give us usable data like the name of a person to incorporate into our system. So with this information now retrieved and available through the AI, the flow can continue to use this in creating, for example, a contact record in Dynamics 365. It can even create a new SharePoint folder for this contact to move the referral form into, keeping things nice and tidy and ensuring we have the form readily available for future reference, as it could have had additional information we didn't need when creating the new contact, and it can also be a failsafe should you want to check that the AI captured the information correctly. Finally, we can set up an email notification to an administrator advising that the referral form has been processed. And there you go. By simply dragging a document into a folder in SharePoint, it is now fully processed. Sounds too good to be true, right? It's not magic though. It really isn't. So in fact, I've already set this up for us all to see and believe. So let me show you. So first we need a referral form example. Here is one I created with the basic contact information you can expect when creating a referral. Let me just open that up. As you can see, I completed this form with information such as first name and last name. In this case, we've got John Doe, as well as other bits and bobs like email and mobile details. I completed this form with sample data and scanned it in as a PDF. When I built the form processing AI model, I used this form layout as well as other example documents to train it, but more on these steps later. Then we needed a SharePoint folder, and this is the folder that we will be dropping the scanned document into that will trigger the flow. So I'm going to go ahead into here, and here's I have my SharePoint site, and then I've got an inputs folder, which is where I will drag and drop my referral form scan into. And then it will trigger the flow for processing. Next, we will need a Dynamics 365 environment with contacts, and this is where we will create the new contact record from that referral form. And currently I have a few contacts, but we'll see which new contact we'll be adding to this list. If all goes well, we should see them soon. Lastly, when the flow is completed, it should send me an email notification advising that the referral form has been processed. So here I've got my emails, and currently I have nothing, and I should receive an email once I've triggered the flow. So we'll keep an eye out on the Outlook. So I'm going to just keep it to the side right over here. As the proof is in the pudding, I believe we should go ahead and try it. So I'm going to go ahead and go into my SharePoint site. I'm going to drag and drop my referral form, and it's uploading here. And this will trigger the flow into doing what it needs to do. So the flow normally takes a minute or two to process, but essentially it is picking up the form from SharePoint here, from this site. It will run the AI to analyze and retrieve the data, the needed data, to create a contact in Dynamics 365 from that data, moving the folder from this SharePoint folder into the new contacts folder, and emailing me when it's all done and dusted. So there's a few ways that we can see how this will be done. The one is we'll see that this form gets removed from this folder, and the other, which just happened, is that I will receive an email. So let me just open up my emails and see if anything comes through. So I know that it's picked up the form, it's processed it, the AI has done its work, and here we go. I've received an email saying, please see created referral client for John Doe. If you want to subscribe from emails, blah, blah, blah. That's just a system email. So here I've got my email. So let's go have a look and see if we now have a John Doe in our system. So I'm just going to go ahead and search for John. And here we can see we've got John Doe. His details were captured, so we've got first name, last name, so John Doe. We captured his email and mobile details. And all of this is now available in Dynamics 365. So we have created a contact, but you will remember that there's also the additional part of the flow, creating a document site. So if we go to related documents, we should be able to see the document. Here we have the referral form PDF that's now available on the site. So there you go. With just dragging and dropping a scanned referral form into a folder within SharePoint, we were able to retrieve the data, create a contact, move the file or the scanned document to that contact so we have it for future reference, and then send an email to an administrator advising that all has been successfully done. Ta-da! Welcome to the new world of artificial intelligence. So let's move ahead and have a look at how this was all set up. Look at the detail on how I built the AI model as well as the flow. And while I'm at it, I might as well just have a look. Here we can see the document and we can see the details. Everything was captured perfectly. 027 111 111. Amazing. Okay, so to go to the app that I built, we can log into our Power Apps platform. We will need to make sure that we are in the correct environment. So I'm just going to double check here at the top right hand corner, and I can see I'm in the correct environment. And then on the left hand pane, you'll see that there's now the AI Builder functionality. You then have the options to build a new model or open an existing model. We're going to build a new model. And in here we have the 4 models available in preview. Currently we have form processing, object detection, prediction, which is also called binary classification, and text classification. But as we're focusing on form processing, we're going to go ahead and create a form right over here. So I'm going to say this is webinar test. Let's say webinar demo. Great. So the steps for creating an AI model are as follows, so specifically for form processing. So you will create the model, which we're doing now. Then you will need to upload form examples. So that referral form PDF that we saw earlier, we need to upload at least 5 examples of those. You will then select the field, so it's analyzed that the AI model will then analyze that form and then give me fields to select. So we then select the fields and then we ask it to train on those fields. So let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to go ahead and say create. It's now creating my AI model. And then it's going to take me through to the next step, which is adding document examples. So there's a few limitations or restrictions that you need to bear in mind when you're uploading your documents. So one of them is you need 5 to 10 examples of your document, so a minimum of 5. So you need at least 5 examples. The document format needs to be either a JPEG, a PNG, or a PDF. We're going to be using PDFs today. And then the maximum total size of the document cannot be more than 4 megabytes. And this is for not just one document, the collective document. So if you're uploading 10 documents, for examples, all 10 of those will need to be less than 4 megabytes. So that's something to bear in mind if you have quite detailed PDF forms that you will be scanning in or using it for examples. The maximum total number of pages can be 50. So that's the restrictions that you need to bear in mind when selecting your sample data. So I'm going to go ahead and say add documents. And then I am going to, so I'm going to go ahead and add my 5 sample documents. I've got them, oops, no, got them over here. I'm going to select them and say open. I actually have 6 documents. So I've selected my documents. What will happen now is it's going to go through all of them, and what it does is it makes sure that the size is acceptable, that the format is acceptable, so that they're PDF, JPEG, or PNG. And then what it also does is it checks for duplication. So if it notices that there's 2 forms for John Doe, for example, it will actually highlight one of those saying this is a duplicate, please remove as this will not be good training. So we're going to go ahead and say upload these 6 documents. And this is going to take a little while, depending on the size of the document. And then the next step, we're going to analyze the document. So I'm going to close it. I'm happy with my 6 documents. I'm going to say the AI model should analyze these forms and then review it and see what fields are static, what fields are values, and what does it need to retrieve or get out of the document. So it's actually going to look at the key values or labels and notify or kind of set them as labels, and then it's going to pull out the information or the values. So it's reviewing all of the forms and then establishing what is a static form and what's dynamic fields. This may take a few minutes, and it all depends on the complexity of your document. If you have more tables, you have complex tables, if you've got many pages, lots of information, that could take a little while. So here we've got the form, and it's picked up that all of these are fields, which is pretty good. So you can go ahead and select all of the fields, but we don't really want to select all of them, so I'm going to clear. For this example, I would like to have the first name, the last name. We'd like to pull through the mobile details and the email details, just the basic contact details, and we're just going to create a basic referral contact from this. You do have the option to edit the field names if you feel like the label wasn't captured correctly. You can change it so the label's first name, or if you want to say full name, or you have the option to edit it here. But we've selected our fields, we're happy with the naming, we can say done. So now we have our form, now we have our 4 fields selected as well, and we can go ahead to the next step where we're going to ask the AI model to train itself on the 6 sample documents that we already gave it and see if it can retrieve those 4 fields. So it's going to go ahead and train. So it's busy training. This may take a while. Again, it depends. As these documents are quite simple, not a lot of fields, it finishes training quite quickly. So we can go ahead to the details page. Here you can see a little preview of the form. You can open it up and see the details. So here it has an example of John Doe that we tasted earlier, and then it also highlights the fields that we've selected from this form layout that it will be retrieving. You can then go ahead and publish this for use in your Power Apps platform. So once the AI model has been published, you can use it in Power Apps, so create a new app and then incorporate using the AI model with that, or Microsoft Flow, which we will be using today. You also have the option to do a quick taste. We can actually go ahead and do a quick taste. So I'm just going to open up another example. I'm going to do, let's do this one. So here we've got Tom Smith. It's another referral form, and I'm asking it to look for the 4 fields. I'm just going to zoom in a bit. And here we can see it picked up Tom Smith, tom@taste.com, and Tom's mobile number. So it was able to pick up the 4 fields, and it feels fairly accurate about how accurately it captured the details, saying that it captured these fields and it's 100% sure that it captured it correctly. We can start over if we're not happy with the results, but I'm pretty happy with the AI's output. Sorry. So we can close, and then that's that. We've now created an AI model that can review a referral form, analyze the details within it, extract the relevant fields that we can then use within a flow. So let me go ahead and show you the flow. So if we go to the flow, we're going to go into solutions. I've built my solutions here, and then we open the flow. And we can go ahead and edit. And here's the simple flow that I've created. So at a very high level, if you remember, the flow performs the following step. We drop the file into SharePoint, then we pull the file information or the content of that PDF scan out of the document. We incorporate the AI model to predict and analyze the details of that document or form. It will then give us an output in parse.json, and these are all the values that it extracted. We can then use those values to create a new contact within Dynamics 365. We can then also create a new SharePoint folder for that contact. We will then give that we will then associate a link or associate that created SharePoint folder of the contact and create a new document location so that we can then move the scanned PDF document from that input folder that we initially dropped it into and move it to the contacts folder, and then send an email notification to an administrator advising that all has been done and dusted. So let's have a quick look into more detail. So I've selected my site, so webinar, and then I selected that folder, the input folder. I've gone ahead and said I would like to see the body content of that document, so that's PDF scan. We use that body content and then select our AI model. So this is the AI model that I built, which is pretty much exactly the same as the one we just built. It was Webinar Form Processor 01. I highlight that it should use the output from Compose to read the body of the document, and then it should be the type of document in SharePoint, which will be PDF. It then runs and gives us the output, which is all the values. So we'll get the first name, last name, all the values of the details that the AI model pulled out of that scanned document. We can then use that to create a contact. So I've gone ahead and say create a contact, use the value pulled out for last name, and the email, the first name, and the mobile number. So we've populated, creating a new contact with those details. Then we create a new folder within SharePoint under contacts, and we have the folder path as full name dash the contact GUID, and this is just a standard Dynamics format for a contact SharePoint folder. Then we get the document location for the found contact, and and then we move that folder, move the PDF scan from the original folder in input, which we had here at the top, and we move it to the new folder for contacts that's been created for Dynamics 365 with the name, and we move it. And then once that's completed successfully, we send an email to an administrator, which currently is set to me, saying referral for the name or the value of the contact created has been submitted. Please see referral client for, and then the full name. And that's that. There you go, all set. Well, looking at the time, now let's have a look if there are any questions from you. Just gonna have a look here. Here we've got a question. How does it handle complicated paper forms such as one that has 30 or 40 pages, for example, an insurance form? Well, like I said, you're limited to the form size when building or training the AI, because it looks at collectively 4 megabytes being the maximum you can upload. If you have a document that is 40 pages, it could be more than that. So you're limited to the 4 megabyte size limit. I have tested additional larger sample documents, and from what I could see, the bigger the document, the longer it took the AI to analyze and review it. And on my flow, when that took longer than a minute, it failed due to a timeout. So you also have timeout requests to think about. Officially, the AI Builder does not currently support the following things that I know about. So complex tables with nested tables, merged headers or cells and so on. So that's not currently supported. Checkboxes or radio buttons, PDF documents longer than 50 pages, and fillable PDFs. So those are the official not supported AI Builder features at the moment. What other questions do we have here? Cool, we've got another one. Can AI see checkboxes? Well, like I just mentioned, officially the AI Builder does not currently support checkboxes or radio buttons, but even though that is said, I'm not sure if you've noticed, but when we did the AI model, when we built it, and it initially showed us the form for John Doe, it did actually pick up let me just open the document, give me a second. Yeah, so this referral form that we uploaded and trained the AI model on, it does have tick boxes for the children and what sex they are. So we've got Jill Doe, who's a female, and when we did the analyzing whilst building the AI model, it did actually pick up these tick boxes. So it seems that even though it is not currently supported, it does actually pick up tick boxes in that change, because in my sample data I had multiple samples with children's names and the tick boxes highlighted. So I did pick that up. So even though the feature technically is not included, it did pick it up. So the AI model is a lot smarter than we would have expected. And I'm pretty sure with proper training, you should be able to incorporate checkboxes into a working AI model. Yeah, so it's not currently supported, but it seems to be picking it up anyway, so we can maybe use the smarts. That seems to be all the questions for now. But like I said, you can always send through an email or contact us directly through our website. Um, So in conclusion, we have upgraded our text mods today and have a pretty good idea on how the new form processing model within the AI Builder works. We now know it can save time and reduce errors within our business by simply implementing it for managing forms. That's all the time we have for today. Please feel free to contact us with any questions. Till next time.